Feel for philosophy. Feel the thought, think the feeling.
Welcome to my new discussion on existentialism. Today, we will explore some fundamental concepts of the existentialism presented by Feel for Philosophy.
You know that feeling like you've just walked out onto a massive stage, the spotlight hits you, but nobody ever gave you the script? That feeling isn't just some random anxiety, it's the central question that a whole school of philosophy is built on. Today, we're diving into existentialism. Right? You don't know your lines, you have no idea what your character's supposed to do, you don't even know the plot. It really makes you stop and think, what am I even supposed to be doing here? Why am I here in the first place? Well, that exact feeling of being on a stage without a script is a starting point for existentialism. Thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, and Martin Heidegger took this fundamental human experience and put it right at the center of their philosophy. But here's the twist, and this is so important. Existentialism says this void, this lack of a pre-written script, isn't a bad thing. It's not a reason to despair. Actually, it's a doorway to a radical, incredible kind of possibility. So how do we wrap our heads around this? Well, it all starts with one of Jean-Paul Sartre's most famous ideas, and it sounds a little tricky at first. Existence precedes essence. Let's break down what that actually means. Okay, let's use a simple analogy. Think about a knife. Before a knife maker even starts working, they have the idea, the essence, in their head. They know it's for cutting, so its purpose comes before it even exists. But for us humans, Sartre says it's the complete opposite. We just show up. We're born, we exist first. There's no blueprint, no predefined purpose. We are basically thrown into the world and left with the giant task of figuring it all out for ourselves. And that's why this idea of a blank canvas is just so perfect. We are born without any predefined meaning. It's only through our actions, our choices, our experiences that we start to paint a picture of who we are. Every single choice is another brushstroke. We are literally the artists of our own lives. Now that sounds amazing, doesn't it? Incredibly liberating. You get to create yourself from scratch. But existentialists are quick to point out the flip side. This total freedom comes with an equally total and kind of terrifying responsibility. Sartre called this radical freedom. See, if there's no divine plan or fixed human nature telling us what to do, then we are completely responsible for every single thing we choose. But it goes even deeper than that. When you make a choice, you're not just choosing for you. You're effectively saying, this is how a human being ought to be. You're setting a standard for all of humanity. Think about that for a second. That's a staggering amount of pressure. And carrying that weight is, well, it's heavy. Realizing that you're completely alone in your decisions and that those decisions define not just you, but your vision for everyone can lead to this deep sense of anxiety, or what some existentialists call dread. It's like that dizzying feeling you get standing on the edge of a cliff when you realize absolutely nothing is stopping you from jumping. So, what do we do with all this terrifying freedom? Well, a lot of the time, we try to run away from it. And Sartre had a brilliant name for this escape hatch: bad faith. It's basically a form of self-deception. We lie to ourselves and pretend that we don't actually have a choice. Sartre's classic example of this is a waiter in a cafe. He plays the part a little too perfectly. His movements are sharp, almost robotic. He's not just a free person who happens to be choosing to do the job of a waiter. No, he's acting as if his very essence is waiter. He has turned himself into an object to escape the anxiety of his own freedom. And think about how often we do this ourselves. Oh, I had no choice, or that's just how I am. That's bad faith. Okay, but what if you don't run away? What if you refuse to hide in bad faith? What if you decide to just stand your ground and stare right into that silent, meaningless universe? Well, now we're getting into the work of another giant of existentialism, Albert Camus. For Camus, the heart of the human condition is what he called the absurd. And this is a really key distinction. The universe itself isn't absurd, and our desire for meaning isn't absurd either. The absurd is the clash between the two. It's that moment where our deep, passionate need for answers runs headfirst into a universe that's just cold, silent, and indifferent. So, if we're caught in this absurd conflict, what are our options? Camus says there are really only 3 ways we can respond. First, there's physical suicide. But for Camus, that's a surrender. You're just escaping the problem, not facing it. The second option is what he calls philosophical suicide. This is the leap of faith, just blindly adopting a religion or an ideology that hands you all the answers on a silver platter. This is also an escape because it means giving up your own reason. For Camus, the only honest, the only courageous path is the third one, revolt. To live in revolt means living with full awareness of the absurd, but refusing to give in to either false hope or despair. And the ultimate hero of this revolt is a character from Greek mythology, Sisyphus. Camus ends his most famous essay with this jaw-dropping line, "We must imagine Sisyphus happy." You remember the story, right? Sisyphus was condemned by the gods to push a massive boulder up a hill for eternity, only to watch it roll back down every single time. It's the definition of a meaningless task. But Camus sees a hero. Why? Because Sisyphus knows his fate is horrible, but he does it anyway. In that moment when he walks back down the hill to get the rock, free from his burden for a second, he is conscious. He is the master of his days. His victory isn't getting the rock to the top. His victory is the struggle itself. By embracing this pointless task, he creates his own meaning and basically tells the gods, "You can't break me." And this brings us right to the heart of it all, the ultimate goal of existentialism. All of these ideas, this radical freedom, this heavy responsibility, confronting the absurd, choosing revolt, they're all pointing toward one thing, living an authentic life. So what does it mean to be authentic? At the end of the day, it's about refusing to live in bad faith. It means you stop blaming society or your parents or your personality for who you are. You look your radical freedom right in the eye, you take full responsibility for the person you're creating, and you build your own values, brushstroke by painful, beautiful brushstroke. And believe me, this isn't just some abstract philosophical exercise. Look at this powerful quote from Simone de Beauvoir. She took these existentialist ideas and applied them to gender. She argued that womanhood isn't some fixed biological thing you're born with. Instead, it's a collection of roles and expectations that society imposes, and that you, as a free person, can either accept or reject as you create your own identity. Its existence precedes essence in action. So let's end with a question for you, a challenge really. Take a hard look at your own life, your job, your nationality, all the different roles you play as a friend, a parent, a citizen. Which of those are you treating like a fixed essence, like a script you were just handed? And which parts are the result of your own conscious, free, and authentic choice? Existentialism doesn't give you the answers, but it has the courage to demand that you ask the question.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support encourages me to create more content. Thank you.